Everyone thought Captain Elena Torres was just another calm, capable commercial pilot. She blended seamlessly into the routine of the airline world, greeting passengers at the gate with her easy smile, shaking hands with the nervous ones who always confessed they were a little afraid of flying, and settling into the left seat of the cockpit with the cool precision that came from years of training. To the flight attendants, she was dependable. To the passengers, she was invisible, just the steady voice on the intercom who announced weather updates and arrival times. But Elena carried a secret that no one on Flight 237 to New York could have guessed. Before she wore navy polyester and silver wings, she had once flown at Mach 2 in the skies above foreign lands. She had been one of the few, an ace, a top gun, a woman whose reflexes and instincts had made her legend in hangars where names were whispered more than spoken. Years ago, she had walked away. She told herself she was finished with danger, finished with loss, finished with the kind of flying that burned holes into your soul. This flight was supposed to be simple. The sky was clear, the jet stream favorable, and 179 passengers settled in for their evening journey. Elena leveled the aircraft at 37,000 feet, checked her instruments, and allowed herself a rare moment of calm. Outside the cockpit windows, the sun dipped toward the horizon, spilling gold across the clouds. Then it happened. First came the sharp tone of an alarm, a noise Elena had never expected to hear in a commercial cockpit. Her co-pilot, fresh-faced and far less calm, stiffened in his seat. "Captain, is that?" She didn't answer. Her eyes scanned the radar. There, blinking in unnatural formation, were two signatures. Too fast, too sharp to be weather. Another alarm blared, shriller this time. Missile lock. Her heart dropped, but her training surged forward like muscle memory. She flicked switches her co-pilot didn't even know existed, disengaging systems, rerouting others. The Airbus shuddered as Elena banked slightly, a maneuver commercial planes weren't designed to make at cruising altitude. Gasps and cries rose from the cabin as passengers felt the sudden tilt. "Ladies and gentlemen," Elena's voice came through the speakers, level and steady though her pulse pounded, "we are experiencing minor turbulence. Please remain calm." Out of the corner of her eye, movement streaked against the fading light. Two silhouettes, sleek and lethal, the unmistakable arrow shapes of F-22 Raptors. They weren't escorting, they were intercepting. Elena's chest tightened. The past she had buried was clawing back into her present. Someone, somewhere, had triggered a protocol that exposed her. These weren't random jets. They were a message. Her co-pilot whispered, "What's going on? They don't just scramble fighters for no reason." Elena's hands were already steady on the controls, her jaw set. She didn't want this fight, but she knew she was the only thing standing between 179 souls and disaster. And if she had to break every promise she made to herself never to fly like that again, then so be it. The top gun in her was awake. Daniel Cross sat at the long dining table, his sleeves rolled up, his tie abandoned somewhere between the front door and the kitchen. Billionaire, yes. CEO, yes. But at this hour, under the soft chandelier glow, he was simply a tired single father trying to balance empire and family. The reports stacked on his laptop pulsed with unanswered emails, yet across the table sat the one person who could bring him to silence, his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. Her hair was still messy from ballet practice, a pink ribbon half unraveled, and she stared at him with those wide, clever eyes that never missed a thing. Daniel could manage hostile takeovers and boardroom betrayals, but one look from Lily could unmake him. "You promised me a story tonight," she said, crossing her arms with exaggerated seriousness. Daniel sighed. "I did, but the board meeting ran late, and then—" "No excuses," Lily interrupted, mimicking the tone of his senior vice president. It made him laugh despite the weight in his chest. She was too much like her mother. And maybe that was the problem. His late wife's absence had left a hollow space no acquisition, no deal, no quarterly growth could ever fill. The silence between them stretched. Lily poked at her pasta with her fork, then spoke again, softer this time. "Daddy, why don't you ever bring anyone home?" He blinked. "Anyone, you know," she pressed. "A girlfriend. Someone who could come to my recitals. Someone who could help me pick out dresses and not always send Ms. Clara the nanny." Daniel exhaled, leaning back in his chair. "It's complicated. Grown-up things." Lily tilted her head, unconvinced. You bought a whole company just because it was complicated. Don't tell me you can't find one person to be here with us. Her words cut deeper than she knew. For months, Daniel had been under pressure from the board, investors whispering about his image. The family brand, they called it. Appearances mattered. Some had even suggested, half joking, half serious, that he should hire someone. A girlfriend for the part. The very idea made him sick. But as he looked across at his daughter, he realized she wasn't asking for appearances. She was asking for forever. That's when the television, muted in the corner of the room, caught Lily's attention. She dropped her fork, eyes widening. "Daddy, look." Daniel turned. The screen blazed with breaking news. Commercial pilot saves 179 lives. There she was, stepping out of an airport gate, flashbulbs exploding around her. Elena Torres. Her name scrolled across the bottom of the screen, her dark hair pulled back, her eyes sharp as ever. The world was learning her story. The F-22s, the near disaster, the pilot who'd flown like no ordinary commercial captain. But Daniel didn't need the news to tell him who she was. His heart recognized her instantly. Elena, the woman he once loved, the one who vanished into classified silence, the ghost he had never stopped chasing. Beside him, Lily whispered, "Her. Can it be her?" Daniel's pulse thundered. Fate had a way of circling back. Elena didn't want the reunion. Not at first. After the chaos of the flight, the endless questioning by investigators, and the sudden glare of the press, the last thing she needed was a ghost from her past walking into the terminal. Yet when Daniel appeared, taller than she remembered, his tie loosened, his expression caught between relief and disbelief, her breath hitched. She told herself she was only surprised, nothing more. "Still saving lives," he said softly, when the crowd thinned enough for them to hear each other. His voice carried the same warmth she had once leaned on during nights when the world outside was nothing but adrenaline and missions they couldn't talk about. "Still running empires," she countered, sharper than she intended. For a moment, the distance between them felt like years measured in miles. But then a small hand slipped between hers, warm and insistent. Elena looked down into Lily's eyes, the kind of wide, searching eyes that seemed to see everything. "You're the pilot," Lily whispered, as if she'd discovered a superhero in plain clothes. "You saved everyone." Elena's throat tightened. She could fly through turbulence, dodge enemy fire, outmaneuver jets at impossible speeds, but she had no defense against the raw, innocent awe of a child. Daniel cleared his throat. "Lily, this is Elena." She was. He hesitated. The word he wanted, everything, hung in the silence. "She was important to me." Elena forced a polite smile, though her heart ached. She told herself she would leave, that this was a dangerous overlap of past and present. But Lily was relentless. "Can you stay? Not just for dinner?" she asked in a rush, cheeks flushed with hope. "But, forever." The air between them seemed to still. Passengers bustled past, reporters shouted questions in the distance, yet in that moment the world shrank to 3 people. Elena's gaze met Daniel's. His eyes, the same ones she once trusted with her life, were open, unguarded in a way they had never been in the boardroom or on the battlefield. Elena thought of the promises she'd made, to never return to the skies that broke her, to never risk her heart again. And yet here she was, alive because she had flown like herself again, standing in front of the man and the girl who made those promises feel small and breakable. She knelt so she was level with Lily, her voice barely steady. "Forever is a long time." "I know," Lily said with a certainty only children carry. "But you're brave. You can do it." Elena laughed then, the sound breaking free of the armor she had built around herself. And for the first time in years, she didn't feel like a woman running from her past. She felt like someone stepping into her future. When she finally stood, Daniel reached for her hand. His grip was steady, familiar, full of unspoken history and possibility. Elena didn't pull away. Above them, in the dark sky outside the terminal windows, the last contrails of the F-22s dissolved into nothing. The fight was over. A new journey was beginning.